Before we start, something to note. This is just a video evaluating fictional characters and should not be used as a means of diagnosis. It's more like if I knew this person, I would suspect they might be gifted. An educator cannot make the diagnosis. If you're unsure about whether someone you know or yourself might be gifted, please consult a registered psychologist. So let's get started. Welcome to our Gifted Characters in Anime series, where characters' giftedness is commented on by a gifted individual trained in gifted education. You might be able to tell from the background music, but we are focusing on Dr. Stone today. It is not going to be interesting if we focus on Zenko, as it's harder to prove he is not gifted than being petrified by a mysterious green beam ourselves. Today we are looking at Shishio Tsukasa. To avoid any unnecessary spoilers, we will cover content in the anime only up to the end of Season 2. For those who haven't watched Dr. Stone and don't mind spoiler, here's a brief synopsis of the show. One day, a mysterious, petrifying light appeared on Earth and turned every human into stone. More than 3,000 years later, our protagonist Zenko broke out from the stone. Zenko is a frantic lover of science, and he aims to revive the world and rebuild civilization. Shortly after reviving his friend Taiju, they revive Tsukasa, who is crowned the strongest primate high schooler. In the beginning, the group enjoyed a nice time working together. But it soon is revealed that Tsukasa does not share the same ideology. Tsukasa does not want to rebuild civilization, as he thinks the society was contaminated by adults who were egocentric and money-minded, and that petrification is a perfect opportunity to rebuild the world to create a sustainable society with only pure-minded individuals. He cold-bloodedly destroyed all statues of people who he judges as impure and created his own tribe ruled by power instead of science. And Zenko and Tsukasa thus became two opposing powers. The first misconception a lot of people have is that gifted people must be good at academics. In fact, many definitions and models of giftedness shows that giftedness can reside in multiple domains. Let's use Gagne's DMGT, differentiated model of giftedness and talent, that is used in New South Wales as an example. In this framework, one domain of giftedness presents itself in potential and capabilities like muscular and motor control, which we can see in Tsukasa, as well as leadership, which is more prominent after he finds his own tribe and especially in Season 2.
俺の蹴りを受けて倒れなかった人間は初めてだ。それ以前に君は今、攻撃できなかったんじゃなくてする気がなかった。どうしてだ？俺は人を殴らん！だが俺をいくら殴っても蹴っても構わん！その代わり、石像を壊すのはやめろ！人を殺すのは悪いことだ！大樹、君の主張を整理すると、自分は手を出さず殴られ続ける。よって石像は壊すな。そういうことかい？そういうことだ！意味がわからない。何の取引にもなってない。
Gifted people care about logic a lot. People whose words don't make sense confuse them. To communicate with others, they need to understand their logic. Unlike typical villains, Tsukasa is not one that doesn't listen. He would listen to their logic and make the judgment. If he does not understand it, he'd think and then ask, instead of waiting to shut the other party up. Excuse me for the JoJo reference. Another characteristic of gifted minds is a concern for justice. Their emotional overexcitability renders them more sensitive to anything unjust, such as picking up shells for a sick little sister but got beaten up by a drunk guy. Without proper support, they might end up overgeneralizing this into thinking all adults are like that, which is why Tsukasa is as such. Imagine if Tsukasa was brought up in a similar environment as Zenko. They would have been great pals and would have re-established civilization together. Another manifestation of the emotional overexcitability is exclusive relationships. Tsukasa is very close to his little sister Mirai, and she means all the world to him. Gifted people constantly think about different scenarios and possibilities, and knowing there is that one person who will always be there for them, who they feel safe with, means a lot. And we can see how Tsukasa's change of mind all roots from one, his sister Mirai. It is also worth noting that Mirai in Japanese means future, and with Mirai in comma, Tsukasa is unable to see how the future can be different, as his future is petrified into stone. And with his future, or Mirai, being revived, he can see a much more positive one now. But ironically, it's also because of Mirai that he had to be preserved in cold sleep, with his future frozen. Let's say both Tsukasa and Zenko are gifted. Then why do they have such different outlooks in life? First of all, the gifted is a heterogeneous group, which means no two gifted are the same. Their environment and experience greatly affect their views and perspectives. Moral development also comes to play here. Based on Kohlberg's theory of moral development, there are 3 levels of moral development, with 2 stages in each level, making it 6 total stages. Most children are in the first level, where their actions are based on whether they'd be praised or punished, and the reward they'd get. Level 2 is where most people are at. In stage 3, people do moral actions to please others and gain approval, while stage 4 is the awareness of the function of the society, that everyone needs to play a part and work within the boundaries of law to maintain a sustainable and functioning society. Only a small proportion of people can reach level 3, with people at stage 5 noticing that laws are too restrictive and may sometimes go against the law in order to uphold universal principles like individual human rights and justice. Kohlberg's theory has been later revised because it is found that too few people could reach stage 6, where the individual internalized universal principles and would devote themselves to actions that they think would be for the betterment of the entire race or society based on their internalized values. It is easy to draw a contrast between Zenko and Tsukasa here. Zenko loves science. He wants to create a civilization based on science, but ultimately, while this benefits the human race, his core reason is because of an individual desire of wanting to do it, which makes him at stage 5 of moral development. But Tsukasa is not naturally violent. He never wanted to kill anyone. He feels like he just needs to do it for the betterment of human race. Stage 6 in Kohlberg's development. Note that people being in stage 6 doesn't mean they are necessarily right or wrong, but it's the way they make decisions which they consider right. And this is why gifted education is important, because we need to guide them to know more about the world and not make hasty judgments. Tsukasa is basically a tragic character because he lacked the support and resources that could have helped him lead a more fulfilling life. If we go back to Gagne's DMGT, you'd notice that the environment is a major influence on the development of one's gift. Tsukasa did not receive the support he should have, and therefore has become the sad, murderous tyrant. He struggles his way through life and ends up being crowned the strongest high school primate beyond his wishes. Gifted education is important because we don't want sad stories like Tsukasa, when he could have led a much more enjoyable school life with Zenko and his friends. The Lyceum Centre for the Gifted and Talented was founded to provide support and services to gifted individuals and their family. Please like and subscribe to our Facebook page and tell more people about the importance of gifted education. You can find our website and Facebook page in the description below. Which character do you suspect to be gifted and want us to talk about in our future videos? Tell us what you think in the comments below. For our next video though, as another famous character's birthday is coming up, we will be talking about that character instead. Feel free to make a guess about that too.